And cameras were rolling, and our own Kellen Buddy caught up with him.
Welcome to Lansing.
I'm happy to be home, man.
Excited to get started?
Happy to be home.
All right.
Living the dream.
And from there, Mel Tucker is heading to the MSU Board of Trustees meeting. Ann Emmerich is anchoring our coverage live in East Lansing tonight. Ann?
Mallory, fans are starting to get over the shock of the Mel Tucker hiring that broke early this morning. Just 4 days ago, he tweeted he was flattered to be considered, but he had unfinished business to take care of at the University of Colorado. But a lot has changed since Saturday, and right now, the MSU Board of Trustees is getting ready to approve his contract to coach the Spartans. Now, this is a live look inside the meeting room. Seth Wells is inside, and he will bring us the very latest when that meeting wraps up. Now, you can also watch that meeting live right now on WILX.com. This is a homecoming for Mel Tucker. He started his coaching career at Michigan State 23 years ago. News 10's Kellen Buddy tells us what has led his path back to Michigan State.
Mel Tucker's first coaching experience came after he played defensive end for the Wisconsin Badgers. In 1997, Tucker coached 2 years as a graduate assistant for the Spartans under Nick Saban and his predecessor, Mark D'Antonio. After Michigan State, Tucker stayed in the college ranks, serving as a defensive backs coach for Miami, Ohio, Louisiana State, and eventually Ohio State. Tucker then spent 10 years in the National Football League, coaching with the Cleveland Browns, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Chicago Bears. He coached 5 games as an interim head coach for the Jaguars in 2011. Tucker's most impressive coaching stint came as a defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach at the University of Georgia from 2016 to 2018. There, he helped the Bulldogs to a 32-9 record over 3 seasons, as well as the school's first SEC championship in 12 years in 2017. Tucker comes to East Lansing after 1 year at the helm in Boulder. The Buffaloes went 5-7 in Tucker's single season as head coach. Tucker brings a strong recruiting resume to Michigan State. He was ranked the number 14th overall recruiter in the country, ahead of the 2018 season for Georgia, and his 2020 class at Colorado was ranked 35th in the nation.
We're waiting to get the official word on how much Mel Tucker will be paid. College football insider Bruce Feldman says the contract will more than double the nearly $2.7 million he made last year. That puts him $5.5 million, which would make him the 12th highest paid coach in the country. Now, Clemson's Dabo Swinney, Nick Saban, and Jim Harbaugh are the top 3. Tucker would slot in just behind Penn State's James Franklin and just ahead of Northwestern's Pat Fitzgerald. He'd be making more than Ohio State's Ryan Day and around $1 million better than Mark D'Antonio made in his final year as head coach. There is an overall celebratory mood here at Michigan State tonight. Things a lot different right now, though, in Boulder, Colorado. Just last weekend, Tucker was meeting with Colorado fans and supporters in Southern California. Athletic Director Rick George says he thinks Tucker was being honest when he said no thanks to Michigan State. That was back on Saturday, and he pointedly refused to say anything bad about his school's former coach.
I don't have anything negative to say about our relationship. I think we had a strong relationship. He made a decision that I don't personally like, but I respect, and it's time to move on.
Coach Hunt. Once the MSU Board of Trustees finishes up, the university will formally introduce Mel Tucker at a press conference tonight at 6:30. We will be carrying it live right here on WILX, on the air at WILX.com, the WILX, and of course on our News 10 Facebook page. I'll be here throughout our 90-minute newscast leading up to that, live in East Lansing. Ann Emmerich, News 10.
And thank you. Now let's get to the breaking news out of Michigan State University, the hiring of new head football coach Mel Tucker. Ann Emmerich and Seth Wells are live on campus where the board just ended their meeting.
Hi, Mallory. Michigan State will formally introduce Coach Tucker at a press conference tonight at 6:30. Seth, you were inside the board meeting when they made it official.
They did make it official, unanimously voting him to be approved as the next football head coach here at Michigan State. And I think one of the biggest things that I took away from the meeting was what Bill Beekman told the board right before the vote. And that was that they were looking for someone with high character, someone who was passionate, with head coaching experience, a track record of success, someone who could recruit, a strong recruiting background. background, especially in the Midwest. He's a Cleveland guy. He's been working in Big Ten areas before, like Michigan State, and someone that was a gifted teacher, someone that really could bring in guys, much like a Mark D'Antonio did, that maybe even if they weren't as highly touted, they can develop into a very good player down the road. So the board unanimously approved him. They're very excited about the hire, and they're not the only ones. A former Michigan State football player talked to News 10 today about his excitement as well.
He was one that cared for his players, cared for everyone in the program, and he was going to do everything he could to make you the best player that you could be. I think this is a place that he always considered home, because this was the beginning, and I know for a fact that it was always in the back of his head that if he had the opportunity to come back home and coach, he would.
As Tucker gears up to lead Michigan State's football program, students are embracing the change. News 10's Maureen Halliday talked with MSU students today who say they are hopeful for a better season.
We're always willing to fight, and that no matter how bleak things may look, that we're going to give it our all and we're going to bleed to do it.
Michigan State students are gearing up for a new head football coach to come to town. Mel Tucker is set to take over the head coaching position at MSU following Mark D'Antonio's abrupt resignation.
Really needed a change because, I love Mark D'Antonio. I've been a Spartan fan my whole life, and I've had a lot of great memories, but the last 2 seasons have been kind of shaky, so you kind of got the feeling there needed to be some changes.
MSU football has taken a major hit the past few years. In 2016, the team's overall record was 3-9. The following year, the team brought home a great season with 10 wins. But in 2018 and 2019, the team's record was 7-6. Scores a Big Ten school definitely doesn't want to see.
Just to get our football program up and running again and really start winning games. It was depressing to go last year and just lose. So I hope we beat Michigan and that we have a good record.
Just some new creative ideas on offense, kind of get that turned around. As long as I see the potential on the field, I don't necessarily need a Rose Bowl or Big Ten championship. I'm not going to get my expectations that high.
Students say they are open-minded to change.
I think it's kind of exciting because we don't really, at least I don't know what to expect. And so it'll just be interesting to see how that coach navigates how to deal with our players and just how they kind of cultivate a team together.
All right, thanks, Maureen. And Tucker doesn't have a lot of time to settle into his new job. Spring coaching or spring training, spring practice starts in a month.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. I think that they mentioned in the fan package, actually, if there's one attribute they hope translates from D'Antonio to Tucker, that would be his record against Michigan, right? That's what they want to do. They want to beat Michigan. We'll see what happens next year. They get them in East Lansing.
All right, back to you, Mallory.
Thank you, Seth and Ann. Our coverage of the hiring of Mel Tucker continues right now at WILX.com and on our Facebook page. We'll be going back out live to campus leading up to the new coach's press conference at 6:30.
Good evening. The agonizing wait is over, Spartan football fans. The green and white has a new gridiron leader. Mel Tucker is on campus tonight as the East Lansing School's new head football coach. Ann Emmerich out live on campus covering Coach Tucker's arrival. Hi, Ann.
Now, fans will get to hear from the new coach in about 30 minutes. Right now, we are told he is meeting with the football team. Now, the Board of Trustees voted to give him the job in just the last hour. Right now, details of Tucker's contract are not being released. We can expect to learn more about that over the coming days. News 10's Maureen Halliday talked to a couple of board members right after the meeting. And what did they have to say, Maureen?
Yeah, and I was able to catch up right after the meeting with trustee Brian Masalam, and he says he's actually the one that was talking about MSU, saying, quote, that they don't need a waffling flake as a head coach. That was after Luke Fickell said he didn't want the job. Now, Masalam didn't say much today, but he just said that everyone is pretty excited that Tucker is now on board. I also caught up with trustee Brianna Scott, and here's what she had to say.
I'm super duper excited. We absolutely made the right choice. I feel that he is going to do some great things here at Michigan State, and I really think our fans, our alumni, everyone are going to be in for a great surprise. I want people to be patient with him. He's got to rebuild this program, and so that's important. But he's got all the support of the Board of Trustees, our president, administration, and I think he's going to be very successful here.
Now, the trustees' vote to hire Tucker was unanimous.
All right, thanks, Maureen. Fans and former players also sharing their excitement. Tonight we caught up with one of Mel Tucker's former players, Octavius Long, and here's what he had to say.
I know Michigan State has gotten the right guy in Coach Tucker. I love Coach D'Antonio. Trust me, I love Coach D'Antonio, but today is a great day for Michigan State football, and I'm extremely excited, for the future.
Roll it up. Well, here are some of the highlights from Mel Tucker's resume. He started his coaching career as a graduate assistant at Michigan State under Nick Saban back in 1997 and 98. Tucker won his first national title as the defensive backs coach at Ohio State in 2002. He worked under then defensive coordinator Mark D'Antonio. Tucker moved to the NFL in 2005. He worked for the Cleveland Browns, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Chicago Bears. Tucker was interim head coach for the Jags for 5 games in 2011, going 2-3. He came back to the college game in 2015 and won his second national title as Nick Saban's assistant head coach at Alabama in 2015. Now, his first full-time head coaching job came last year when he went 5-7 at Colorado. Mel Tucker is giving a press conference tonight at 6:30 at the Breslin Center. We'll have a full recap of everything from that tonight on News 10 11. And we've got more coming up on News 10 at 6. For now, let's send it back to David in the studio.